They say the greatest power in the universe lies not in the stars, not in wealth, not even in the hands of kings, but within your own mind. Imagine for a moment that every thought you've ever had has quietly shaped the world around you. The choices you've made, the chances you've taken, the life you now live. What if I told you that your mind is not just an observer of life, it is the architect of your destiny, that the limits you feel are not made of reality, but of belief? Because the mind is everything. What you think, you truly become. The greatest thinkers, from Buddha to Einstein, all echoed the same truth: your thoughts create your world. When you think you can, you open a door. When you think you can't, you build a wall. Every success story, every invention, every masterpiece began first as a thought. A single spark of belief that refused to die. That's how the invisible becomes visible, how the dreamer becomes the doer, and how the impossible turns into, I did it. But here's the secret few ever master. Your mind listens to you. It absorbs your words, your emotions, your self-talk. If you fill it with fear, it will shape a fearful world. If you fill it with faith, courage, and vision, it will carve a path even through chaos. You are not your circumstances. You are not your past. You are what you continuously think, feel, and believe yourself to be. So guard your thoughts like treasures. Feed them with purpose. Nurture them with gratitude. Every day you are planting seeds, and those seeds grow into the reality you walk through tomorrow. Speak abundance, and abundance finds you. Speak defeat, and life bends toward struggle. The choice always has been yours. The mind is your greatest ally or your deepest enemy, depending on how you train it. A calm mind sees clarity. A focused mind builds success. A grateful mind attracts miracles. The mind that knows no limits can transform pain into power, loss into lesson, and doubt into destiny. So ask yourself, what are you becoming through your thoughts today? Because life will always echo the words you whisper to yourself in silence. Everything begins with a thought. Every victory, every downfall, every revolution in human history first lived inside the silent chambers of the mind before it ever became reality. When we say your thoughts create your reality, it's not poetic exaggeration. It's a truth that has shaped empires, built destinies, and defined the difference between those who merely exist and those who truly live. Your mind is not just a tool. It's the control room of your life. Every belief you hold sends signals to the universe, and those signals shape how you see, feel, and experience the world. If your thoughts are small, your life becomes confined. But when your thoughts expand, when you dare to imagine something bigger, the entire world seems to stretch to meet you there. Imagine your mind as a projector, constantly displaying on the screen of reality the film you play within. Change the film. The images, the tone, the message, and the movie of your life changes with it. This is not magic, it's awareness. The thoughts you dwell upon create the emotional energy you emit, and that energy determines what you attract and what you repel. If your thoughts are dominated by scarcity, you'll notice lack everywhere. If they are filled with gratitude and possibility, suddenly opportunities appear where none seemed to exist before. The world is responding to you, echoing back the frequency of your thinking. So the question becomes, what are you thinking most of the time? Are you feeding your mind with limitations or possibilities? Every I can't is a seed that grows into hesitation. Every I will is a command to the subconscious to move forward. The human brain is a master servant. It listens, obeys, and builds around whatever narrative you repeat most. That's why awareness is power. When you catch yourself spiraling into doubt, stop and replace it with intention. Say to yourself, I am capable. I am resilient. I am enough. These are not empty affirmations. They are mental reprogramming commands. Repeated thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs become reality. Think about how every invention began. Not with a tool, not with money, but with an idea. The light bulb existed in Edison's imagination long before it illuminated the world. Airplanes flew through the minds of the Wright brothers before they ever touched the sky. Even the device you're using now began as a thought in someone's head, once considered impossible. The mind imagined it, believed it, and then built it. That is the pattern of creation. Always thought first, reality second. So, when you realize that your life is nothing more than the physical echo of your mental state, you begin to take your thoughts seriously. The tragedy is that many people use this creative power unconsciously. They focus on what they fear, and then wonder why fear keeps showing up. They think of failure more than success, and then call it fate when they fall short. But fate is often just thought made visible. The law is simple. Whatever you hold in your mind with emotion and repetition will, in time, shape your circumstances. If you constantly tell yourself you're unlucky, you'll notice every reason to believe it. If you tell yourself you're capable of greatness, your mind begins to look for evidence to prove it right. Here's the truth few realize. Your thoughts are magnetic. They attract experiences, people, and opportunities that align with their frequency. You can't think like a victim and live like a champion. You can't dwell in doubt and expect to move with confidence. You must align your internal narrative with the life you wish to live. If your thoughts are a script, then your reality is the movie being filmed from it. Every moment, every decision, every habit is just a scene playing out what your mind has already written. This is why mindfulness matters. To master your thoughts is to master your world. You don't need to control every external event. You need to control your internal response to it. The storm may rage outside, but if your mind remains calm and directed, the chaos cannot touch your center. The mind is both the battlefield and the victory. When you shift from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What is this teaching me?" you step into power. You stop reacting and start creating. You begin to see that reality bends to the direction of your focus. Think of your thoughts as the steering wheel of your life. Each idea, each image, each belief guides where you're headed. The more clearly you visualize your destination, the more smoothly your life's vehicle moves toward it. Those who drift without purpose do so because they never decided what to think about. Their minds are filled with noise, the opinions of others, the fears of failure, the weight of the past. But those who command their thoughts command their outcomes. They understand that every day they are programming their future through the lens of the present moment. And here's a hook worth remembering. You don't become what you wish for, you become what you believe. Wishing is passive, believing is creative. The energy of your belief is what bridges the gap between imagination and manifestation. When you believe with clarity, your actions follow. Your energy becomes aligned, your habits shift, and your world rearranges itself around your conviction. That is how reality responds to thought. Not instantly, but inevitably. So every morning, Before you face the noise of the world, return to your thoughts. Guard them. Refine them. Speak life into them. Because the quality of your thinking is the quality of your living. The mind is everything. It can be your prison or your power, your limit or your liberation. What you think, you truly become. The most powerful conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Every day, your mind speaks a language only you can hear. A quiet narration shaping how you feel, how you act, and ultimately, who you become. That voice inside, your self-talk, is not a whisper of truth. It is a reflection of belief. It can build empires within you or destroy the courage to even begin. Your self-talk shapes your identity, your confidence, your resilience, and the way you face life itself. It is the foundation of how you see the world, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One says, "I can't do this. I'm not good enough." The other says, "I'll figure this out. I've done hard things before." The situation is identical, but the outcome is worlds apart. Why? Because the second person has trained their inner voice to empower rather than defeat. The words we repeat in our minds become mental commands, and our actions simply follow those orders. Every "I can't" freezes progress. Every "I will" awakens strength. You are constantly programming your mind with your own words, and over time, your life becomes the result of that programming. Self-talk is the invisible architect of identity. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, you begin to see yourself through the lens of inadequacy. If it's filled with belief and encouragement, you begin to embody confidence and capability. The world responds to the energy you emit, and that energy is born from your inner language. When you tell yourself you're not enough, you unconsciously seek evidence to prove it. When you tell yourself you are capable and deserving, your mind starts noticing possibilities that align with that belief. This is not illusion. It's mental direction. The human mind is a loyal follower. It becomes whatever you consistently tell it to be. Here's the truth that too many ignore. Yourself-talk is not background noise. It's the script of your life. Every thought you nurture becomes a line in that script. Every belief you reinforce becomes a scene that plays out in your reality. You are both the author and the actor, creating the story as you go. If your inner language is toxic, you are scripting tragedy. But if it's empowering, you are writing triumph. The transformation doesn't begin when you achieve success. It begins when you speak to yourself like someone worthy of it. Think about how often people talk themselves out of greatness. They say things like, "I'm not ready," "I'm too old," "I'm not smart enough," or "someone else can do it better." Those phrases may seem harmless, but every time you say them, your brain listens. It records those words as facts and begins constructing your identity around them. Before long, they're no longer thoughts. They're beliefs. That's how dreams die quietly, not from failure, but from a mind that no longer dares to speak power into itself. But the reverse is also true. Speak words of strength, and your mind begins to believe in your strength. Tell yourself, "I'm capable," and soon you'll act like it. Tell yourself, "I'm learning," and every mistake becomes a step toward mastery. You are the most influential voice in your own life. No coach, no teacher, no motivator can out-speak your inner dialogue. The conversations you have in silence are what determine how you perform in public. That's why the most successful people don't just discipline their habits. They discipline their thoughts. They train that inner voice to push them, to lift them, to guide them through moments when the world is silent. They know that mindset isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when you choose to tell yourself, keep going. Science has proven what wisdom has always known. The brain cannot differentiate between truth and repetition. If you tell yourself something often enough, your mind accepts it as reality. That's why self-criticism is so destructive and self-belief so powerful. Every negative thought you repeat becomes a neural pathway, a mental habit of limitation. Every positive affirmation you repeat becomes a new road of possibility. Your mind builds what you feed it, word by word, thought by thought. You can literally rewire your brain with consistent self-talk that uplifts rather than undermines. The power of self-talk is not about ignoring struggle, it's about redefining it. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "This is hard, but I can learn." Instead of saying, "I'm failing," say, "I'm growing." These small linguistic shifts create massive psychological transformations. They turn fear into focus, pain into purpose, and pressure into progress. You stop seeing challenges as proof of your weakness and start seeing them as evidence of your evolution. That shift in language changes everything: your mindset, your confidence, your energy, your results. Most people wait for life to give them permission to believe in themselves. They wait for success to validate worth, for applause to confirm ability. But true power comes from internal validation, from being your own anchor in the storm. When your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy, you no longer need external approval to move forward. You stop waiting and start creating. You stop doubting and start doing. The greatest victories begin with 3 simple words whispered in faith: "I can do this." So ask yourself, what kind of voice are you living with? Is it a critic that breaks you down or a coach that lifts you higher? Because your self-talk sets the emotional tone of your entire life. It's the difference between living in fear and living with purpose. Every time you speak to yourself, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Speak strength. Speak courage. Speak vision. Because when you change the conversation within, the world outside begins to listen. Your self-talk is not just noise. It's the echo of your future. Speak power into it. Speak hope into it. Speak greatness until it answers back. Belief is the invisible bridge between thought and reality. It is the hidden force that transforms the unseen into the seen, the imagined into the experienced. Every invention, every act of courage, every leap of progress in human history was first built on belief. Belief that something greater was possible, belief that failure was not final, belief that one mind could change the world. Belief turns the invisible into the possible, because what you hold true in your heart, you begin to live out in your actions. It's not merely positive thinking. It's the foundation of creation. What you believe, you attract. What you expect, you prepare for. And what you consistently envision, you eventually become. Look closely at the lives of those who achieved the impossible. They didn't wait for proof before believing. They believed first, and proof followed. The Wright brothers believed human flight was possible when the world mocked the idea. Thomas Edison believed light could be harnessed long before he found a filament that worked. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in equality before society was ready to accept it. The pattern is universal. Belief precedes reality. The mind must first accept something as possible before the body can make it happen. Your belief is not just a feeling. It is the permission slip you give yourself to pursue the extraordinary. But here's the hook. Belief is not built in comfort. It's born in doubt, in failure, in darkness. The moments that test you the most are the moments your belief is being refined. When everything around you says no, belief is the whisper that says, try again. It is the quiet rebellion against limitation, the internal fire that refuses to go out no matter how hard life blows against it. Most people lose the game of life, not because they lack talent, but because they stop believing in their power to win. They surrender their potential to fear. Yet those who keep believing, even when evidence is against them, unlock forces within themselves they never knew existed. Belief is energy. It shapes perception. It alters chemistry. When you believe you can do something, your mind begins to find ways to make it real. You think clearer, act braver, and move faster because your brain is working toward alignment. When you believe you can't, your mind finds reasons to confirm your limitation. It builds walls instead of doors. This is not magic, it's neuroscience. The brain filters information to match what you believe is true. It's called confirmation bias. That means you don't see life as it is, you see it as you believe it to be. So when you change your belief, you don't just change your mindset. You change your reality. Think about a seed. When planted, it doesn't instantly become a tree. But within that seed already exists the potential for growth, for fruit, for shade. Belief is that seed in the human spirit. It's what allows you to see the tree even before it sprouts. Most people stop watering their dreams because they don't see results immediately. But belief teaches patience. It tells you to keep nurturing your vision even when nothing seems to be happening, because everything begins in the unseen. Every thought, every effort, every ounce of faith is building something beneath the surface that one day will emerge in full bloom. Your belief system defines the boundaries of your life. If you believe you are limited, you act limited. If you believe you are capable, you push through limits. Belief gives you permission to take risks, to fail, to rise again. It is the foundation of resilience, because when you truly believe in your purpose, setbacks don't destroy you, they refine you. You start to see failure not as the end, but as part of the journey. You learn that every obstacle is simply a test of how deeply you believe in your vision. The stronger your belief, the shorter the distance between where you are and where you want to be. Here's another hook. The world doesn't believe in you until you believe in yourself. People are mirrors. They reflect what you project. If you walk into a room uncertain, the world will doubt you. But if you walk in certain of your worth, your energy speaks before your words do. Confidence is not arrogance. It's the external expression of internal belief. It tells the world, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and I'm not afraid of the journey. The most magnetic people on earth are those who carry unshakable belief. Not because they never fail, but because they never stop believing that failure can lead to greatness. Belief is also contagious. When you believe deeply, others begin to believe through you. Your conviction becomes a beacon. That's why leaders inspire, not through titles or authority, but through belief. They make others see what they see, feel what they feel, and move toward what seems impossible. Every movement, every innovation, every revolution began when one person's belief ignited the belief of another. When you believe, you don't just change your own reality. You expand the realm of what others think is possible. But belief requires discipline. It demands that you hold faith even when fear screams louder. It asks that you trust the process when progress is invisible. It is not about ignoring obstacles, but seeing them as evidence that you are on the right path. The universe often tests belief before it rewards it. It asks, do you really want this? Do you still believe when the road is dark? And those who answer, yes, even trembling, are the ones who rise, because true belief is not built on perfect conditions. It's built on persistence through uncertainty. So when doubt comes, and it will, remind yourself that every great life begins in the imagination and survives through belief. Don't wait for signs, for permission, or for someone else's validation. Believe first. Act second. Watch the world align to your conviction. Because the truth is timeless, belief doesn't just change your thoughts. It changes your chemistry, your energy, your direction, your destiny. The invisible becomes possible when you decide to believe it can. Your mind is a living garden. Every thought you plant, every emotion you water, and every belief you nurture takes root and grows into something that shapes your world. The mind does not question the seeds you plant. It simply grows whatever you feed it. Feed it positivity, gratitude, and purpose, and it will blossom with peace, confidence, and opportunity. Feed it fear, doubt, and resentment, and it will overgrow with weeds of anxiety, confusion, and limitation. The truth is simple, yet profound. Your thoughts are the seeds of your future, and your mind is the soil in which your destiny grows. Every day, without realizing it, you are cultivating something within yourself. The news you watch, the conversations you entertain, the people you spend time with, and the words you speak to yourself are all part of the nourishment, or the poison. You're giving your mind. What you consume mentally shapes what you create physically. That's why you can't live a positive life with a negative mind. You can't expect peace when you constantly feed your mind with chaos. You can't expect growth if you only feed yourself fear. Your mind is obedient. It grows what you give it. The responsibility lies with you. Here's a hook that cuts deep. Whatever dominates your attention eventually defines your direction. The things you think about the most become the compass of your life. When your mind is full of gratitude, you naturally attract more reasons to be grateful. When it's full of complaint, you unconsciously attract more things to complain about. This isn't coincidence. It's energy alignment. You experience more of what you focus on because your mind begins filtering the world to confirm your inner expectations. In other words, you don't see life as it is, you see it as you are. Imagine a garden left unattended. Weeds grow wild, flowers wilt, the soil hardens. That's what happens to the mind when you neglect it. Negativity, fear, and frustration are like weeds. They don't need permission to grow. They thrive in neglect. You must be deliberate in pulling them out and replacing them with something better. It takes work to maintain a healthy mental landscape, but that work pays off in clarity, emotional strength, and resilience. A gardener doesn't wait for weeds to disappear. He removes them daily. In the same way, you must tend to your mind every day. Cleanse it of fear, doubt, and anger, and feed it with truth, vision, and gratitude. Every time you choose what to think, you are deciding what kind of garden your life will become. If you constantly think about failure, your actions will begin to align with that fear. But if you think about possibility, your actions will naturally move toward opportunity. The mind is a mirror. It reflects what it receives. You can't pour in poison and expect purity to come out. You can't feed your mind with limitations and expect it to produce confidence. You must choose your mental diet as carefully as you choose your food, because both determine your energy and growth. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. People who are angry on the inside will always find reasons to be angry on the outside. Those who cultivate peace will find calm even in chaos. It's not the circumstances that determine your peace. It's the strength of your mindset. The storm outside doesn't drown you unless the water gets in. The same is true for your thoughts. The world can throw its chaos at you, but if your mind is filled with light, the darkness cannot take root. Gratitude is one of the most powerful fertilizers for the mind. When you train yourself to focus on what's right rather than what's wrong, you begin to see abundance where others see lack. Gratitude rewires the brain to seek positivity. It shifts your energy from scarcity to fulfillment, from pressure to purpose. That's why successful, peaceful people often start and end their day with reflection. Not because life is perfect, but because they've learned to feed their minds with appreciation instead of anxiety. Gratitude doesn't ignore reality, it refocuses it. It's a reminder that there's always something to be thankful for, even when life feels heavy. But positivity is not denial, it's direction. Feeding your mind with positivity doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing to focus on solutions rather than obstacles. It means training your mind to ask, how can I grow from this? Instead of, why did this happen to me? The questions you ask your mind determine the answers you live by. When your mental diet is built on growth and perspective, your life becomes a reflection of resilience and strength. Many people treat their minds like open fields, letting anyone plant anything. They let gossip, negativity, and fear from others take root without realizing how much damage that causes. Protect your mental garden. Be selective about what you allow in. Not every voice deserves to plant seeds in your soil. Surround yourself with people who inspire growth, not those who drain it. Protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. What you allow into your mind today will become your reality tomorrow. Think of this. When you start your morning with negative news or complaints, you're watering weeds. When you begin your day with reflection, motivation, and gratitude, you're watering flowers. One small change in what you feed your mind can shift your entire emotional landscape. That's how transformation happens. Not in massive leaps, but in consistent nurturing. You become what you repeatedly feed your thoughts with. Every book you read, every word you speak, every image you dwell upon is shaping the future version of you. So feed your mind with ideas that stretch your imagination, with stories that build your spirit, with knowledge that sharpens your wisdom. Refuse to let fear or doubt take permanent residence in your mind. Be a conscious gardener. Prune away what no longer serves you and plant only what nourishes your highest self, because the truth remains. Your mind will grow something either way. Make sure it grows something worth living for. Focus is the silent architect of destiny. It is the difference between a scattered life and a powerful one, between existing and truly creating. Every great achievement begins with focus. the ability to direct your mental energy toward one purpose while tuning out the noise that tries to pull you away. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your life grows. The mind, like light, becomes powerful only when concentrated. A ray of sunlight warms the skin, but a focused beam becomes a laser strong enough to cut through steel. That is the power of human focus. When your mind aligns fully with your purpose, nothing in the world can stand in your way. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack focus. They start one thing, get distracted by another, and spend their lives chasing scattered sparks instead of building one roaring fire. The world today is a battlefield for your attention. Notifications, headlines, opinions, and fears compete for mental real estate. The greatest danger of the modern age isn't lack of information. It's the abundance of distraction. Every moment your mind drifts toward the meaningless, you rob your purpose of power. But when you learn to control your focus, you begin to control your future. Your life is the sum of what you repeatedly give your attention to. Focus is not just about productivity, it's about identity. Whatever you focus on long enough becomes a part of you. If you constantly focus on your fears, you become fearful. Focus on gratitude, and you become peaceful. Focus on growth, and you become unstoppable. The mind is a mirror. It reflects whatever you point it toward. So when you choose what to focus on, you are not just choosing what to think, you are choosing who to become. The human brain cannot process everything at once. It filters the world through the lens of focus. This means you are always living in a reality shaped by what you choose to notice. When you focus on problems, life feels heavy and chaotic. When you focus on solutions, life becomes manageable, even inspiring. Your focus creates your emotional climate. Two people can experience the same situation, yet one feels defeated, while the other feels motivated, simply because of where their attention is directed. Focus is not about ignoring reality. It's about deciding which part of reality deserves your energy. Think of focus like a lens on a camera. When it's sharp, the image becomes clear. When it's unfocused, everything blurs. Many people live their lives with mental blur, jumping from thought to thought, goal to goal, without clarity. They wonder why success feels out of reach, unaware that their focus is fragmented. Clarity doesn't come from having all the answers, it comes from deciding what truly matters. Once you do that, distractions lose their power. Focus gives meaning to effort, direction to dreams, and energy to ambition. It is the quiet discipline behind every masterpiece, every innovation, every transformation. When you control your focus, you reclaim your power from the world around you. No one can force you to think a certain way without your permission. Focus gives you sovereignty over your inner world. Even in chaos, you can choose calm. Even in loss, you can choose gratitude. Focus is the tool that allows you to rise above reaction and move with intention. Life will always try to pull you in 100 directions, but mastery begins when you decide which direction truly deserves you. Distraction is not just the enemy of focus, it is the thief of destiny. Every time you give in to it, you trade long-term vision for short-term comfort. The scrolling, the noise, the constant urgency, they fracture your mental strength piece by piece. You cannot live a purposeful life with a distracted mind. To build something meaningful, you must learn the art of single-mindedness. It's the ability to be fully present with one thing until it's complete. That is how the world's greatest creators thinkers, and leaders operate. They channel their focus into their craft until the noise disappears. Focus also determines emotional control. When you dwell on pain, it amplifies. When you dwell on purpose, it transforms. Energy follows attention. If you focus on everything that's wrong, your emotions spiral downward. But when you train your mind to focus on gratitude, progress, and lessons, your emotions lift. This shift doesn't require external change. It requires internal direction. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and strength where others see struggle. That's not luck, that's focused perception. The secret to mastering focus is learning to say no. Every yes to distraction is a no to your growth. Every moment spent on what doesn't matter steals from what does. You must learn to protect your attention as if it were gold, because it is. Your attention builds your world. Whatever holds it controls you. That's why great minds are ruthless with their focus. They know that every thought spent on the unnecessary delays the arrival of the extraordinary. Focus is not about working harder, it's about working with purpose. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Imagine standing in a forest surrounded by 1,000 trees. You could wander endlessly, overwhelmed by choices, or you could pick one tree and start climbing. Focus is choosing your tree. Once you climb it, your perspective expands. You see things you couldn't see from the ground. That's how life works. Clarity comes from commitment, not confusion. The more you focus, the clearer the view becomes. The more you scatter, the further you drift. So, guard your focus. Direct it toward your dreams, your goals, your growth. When fear tries to distract you, focus on faith. When doubt whispers, focus on progress. Every time you shift your attention back to your vision, you strengthen your power. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger wherever you use it most. Use it to complain, and you'll master excuses. Use it to create, and you'll master success. The difference is not talent, it's focus. Because in the end, what you focus on defines what you feel, and what you feel defines how you act, and how you act defines what you become. Your focus is the gateway through which your future enters your life. So choose it carefully. Choose it consciously. Because the power to change everything has always been right where your attention is. Energy is the invisible current that shapes the visible world. It is the silent architect of your reality, the unseen force behind every action, emotion, and decision. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you feel carries energy. And that energy doesn't disappear. It multiplies, it expands, and it shapes everything around you. The energy you give is the energy you live. You attract what you radiate. If you walk through life with anger, you'll meet resistance. If you move with gratitude, you'll find grace. The universe is not responding to what you want. It's responding to who you are being. That's why mastering your energy is the foundation of mastering your life. Your energy introduces you before you even speak. People feel you before they understand you. You can't fake it, and you can't hide it. Your vibration tells your story long before your words do. When you walk into a room with calm confidence, people sense it. When you walk in carrying chaos, people sense that too. The question is, what kind of energy are you offering the world? Because is exactly what the world will offer back to you. Energy is not mystical, it's magnetic. It's the pulse of your mindset, the frequency of your focus, the rhythm of your emotions. Energy is a reflection of alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned with your purpose, your energy flows freely. It feels powerful, unstoppable, alive. But when you live in contradiction, thinking one thing, saying another, and doing something else, you create inner resistance. That resistance drains your energy, weakens your focus, and leaves you feeling stuck. You can't move forward if your energy is divided. Alignment turns effort into ease. It doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you stop fighting against yourself. That is the secret of powerful people. They don't waste energy pretending, competing, or resisting. They conserve it by being authentic. Energy is also the language of the subconscious mind. Your thoughts don't just live in your head. They radiate through your body. When you dwell on negativity, your energy field contracts. You feel heavy, tired, and uninspired. But when you feed your mind with gratitude, confidence, and vision, your energy expands. You stand taller, you breathe deeper, you move differently. People who operate from positive energy don't just look different. They change the atmosphere around them. That's why one optimistic person can lift an entire room, while one negative person can drain it. Energy is contagious. Protect yours fiercely and share it wisely. What you send out is what always comes back. Life is an energetic mirror. If you want kindness, radiate it. If you want success, think it, feel it, act it before it arrives. You cannot wait for good energy to come to you. You must become the source of it. The energy you put into the world is your signature. It travels farther than you can imagine. Every smile, every word of encouragement, every act of courage ripples outward, shaping realities you may never see. That is how powerful your energy truly is. But the truth is, most people are running on empty energy because they keep giving it to things that drain them. Arguments that don't matter, people who take more than they give, fears that never happen, and memories that should have been released long ago. Energy is like currency. You must invest it wisely. Every thought is a transaction. Ask yourself, is this thought giving me power or taking it away? Is this emotion fueling me or burning me out? Is this habit lifting me higher or pulling me down? The moment you start spending your energy with intention, your entire life begins to transform. There's a hidden law of energy. What you focus on expands, because energy follows attention. If you constantly think about problems, you'll feel drained. If you focus on possibilities, you'll feel alive. It's not magic. It's physics. Your energy field amplifies whatever you feed it. That's why successful people guard their energy as sacred. They start their day with purpose, surround themselves with positive environments, and avoid drama. They understand that energy is not limitless. It must be renewed through rest, gratitude, and alignment. And that's where the true mastery begins. When you learn to shift your energy at will, you can choose to rise even when everything tries to pull you down. You can choose calm in the middle of chaos. You can choose gratitude in the face of loss. That choice changes your frequency, and your frequency changes your future. Because energy doesn't lie, it listens. When your energy vibrates with peace, confidence, and faith, life starts to respond in harmony. Doors open, ideas flow, people align. It feels like luck, but it's alignment. It feels like coincidence, but it's resonance. Energy is also a reflection of self-care. When you neglect your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy weakens. But when you rest, breathe, move, and nourish yourself, your energy strengthens. It becomes clearer, brighter, more magnetic. You can't create a high vibration life with low vibration habits. Your energy rises when you honor yourself. Meditation, nature, deep conversation, purpose-driven work. These are not luxuries. They are energetic maintenance. Every positive habit you build strengthens your frequency. The energy you carry determines the quality of the people you attract, the opportunities that find you, and the peace that lives within you. That's why it's not enough to chase goals. You must also raise your energy to match them. You can't receive abundance while vibrating in fear. You can't attract love while carrying resentment. You can't build success while feeding doubt. Your external world will never rise above your internal energy. The higher your vibration, the greater your manifestation power. So, the real challenge is not to control the world. It's to master your energy within it. Every moment gives you a choice to drain or rise, react or respond, doubt or believe. The most powerful people on earth aren't those who control others. They are those who control their own energy, no matter what happens around them. Because when you master your inner state, the outer world begins to reflect it back to you in extraordinary ways. Energy is everything, and you are its source. The more aware you become of it, the more intentional your life becomes. So guard your energy, grow it, and give it only where it multiplies. Because the frequency you live in today is the reality you'll step into tomorrow. Remember this: you don't need to wait for the world to change before you do. Change your mind, and your world will follow. Every great life begins with one powerful decision: to think higher, to dream bolder, and to believe deeper. Because in the end, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Wisdom in Minutes audiobooks, where a few moments of reflection can change a lifetime of direction.